Unlike most other celebrities, Keanu doesn't focus on his car collection. No, he instead created the most wicked motorcycle collection in Hollywood. So hold on to your helmets, folks, because we're about to dive into the jaw-dropping world of Keanu Reeves' motorcycle collection, including the one motorcycle that made an appearance on The Matrix. Number 1. 1973 Norton Commando 850 Mark IIA. For a man with a collection big and diverse enough to start his own dealership, it seems only right to begin our tour with one of the first bikes he ever owned and his personal favorite, a 1973 Norton Commando 850 Mark IIA, a true British classic. This retro beauty was the second motorcycle Reeves purchased while living in LA, and it was definitely a wise choice for newer riders like Keanu when he got it. However, over time, John Wick here has grown quite fond of this beast. Rumor has it that Keanu spent so much time tinkering with it all by himself while still on the Matrix set. In fact, Keanu, with the wind in his hair right on the back of his Norton Commando, is a popular sight. He's been seen spotted quite a couple of times riding it because why drive a boring SUV when you can be one with the road? And that's exactly what the 73 850 Mark IIA offers. Some of the key features Keanu loves about this guy include the rubber-mounted feather bed frame to absorb any of the vibrations coming from the powertrain. A fantastic feature really, the upswept exhaust pipe, and quite obviously the incredible rumble of its engine. With plenty of mileage under this bike's belt, it's easy to see the emotional connection, even after purchasing it back in 1987. Deriving its power from an 828cc air-cooled OHV parallel twin engine, the Norton Commando 850 is capable of producing 58 horsepower and 6,800 RPM. And with that hunk of metal comes its raspy exhaust notes and a top speed of around 115 miles per hour. Fun little tidbit about this guy. Keanu once rode that bike 1,300 miles, all the way from Toronto to Florida, just to persuade River Phoenix to co-star in My Own Private Idaho. That's some major dedication. I can't even get my dog to stop drinking out of the toilet. Well, Keanu might have his own motorcycle company now, but he's not letting go of this beauty anytime soon. By now, you can obviously tell the Norton Commando isn't featured in The Matrix, even though it was a regular on the set. Don't get anxious now. We can't just skip to dessert. Number 2. 2019 Arch KR-GT1. Fun fact, guys. Keanu Reeves is actually the co-founder of the motorcycle company Arch's Motorcycles. You want to know what's really great about owning your own motorcycle company? You literally get free access to your own inventory without having to pay a single dime. That means the actor in The Matrix has quite a lot of Arch motorcycles gathering dust in his garage. However, none are as precious to him as his Arch KR-GT1, a bike so sleek it could probably make Tesla blush. This two-wheeled beast is Keanu's baby, because it was co-designed by the actor himself. The KR-GT1 is a special bike to Keanu. It literally served as the birth of an entire Arch motorcycle company. According to the actor, he used to own a Harley-Davidson. However, he really wanted to make the ride his. So, he met with Gard Hollinger, who built a custom bike for the actor. That's when the two started working to form Arch Motorcycle, using Reeves' personal ride as the prototype for the high-revving cruiser. Quite the story, right? The KR-GT1 is put together using more than 200 parts made from Arch in-house, as well as a couple of additional features from third-party companies. Just like with Keanu Norton's Commando 850 Mark IIA, it's just so easy to see why this guy's never leaving his collection. Well, that, plus it's one pretty powerful bike. Details? Oh, we've got details for you. Housing a 2032cc 124 cubic inch V-twin engine pumping out up to 121 horsepower and 94 pound-feet of torque, the KR-GT1 is the brand's flagship model. The machine also boasts handcrafted aluminum, a carbon fiber body, and a chassis so light you could lift it with your pinky. But you probably shouldn't try that. Each model is custom-made for you, right down to the tailored seats. Keanu once said riding this guy feels like floating on a thundercloud. That's if that thundercloud costs $85,000. Remember that Harley that birthed his entire motorcycle company? Yeah, that guy comes next. Number 3. Harley-Davidson Dyna Wide Glide. If there was ever a motorcycle that just screamed motorcycle culture, a motorcycle that literally belongs in some motorcycle hall of fame, then look no further than the Harley-Davidson Dyna Wide Glide. And you can bet even Keanu feels the same way. Why wouldn't he? This guy is the reason he owns a motorcycle company. Plus, what's a great motorcycle collection without a classic Harley? Take a look at this masterpiece. A low profile, laid back, and with some chopper-inspired design elements straight from the Harley-Davidson factory. It served as the catalyst that got Keanu and Hollinger to create Arch motorcycles. Obviously, when we see Keanu or any big-time Hollywood action star riding a bike in a movie, usually it's something really fast, light, sporty, and loud. But when those cameras stop rolling, A machine like this just feels right, casual, muscular, and with calming exhaust notes. It is a good change of pace. And that's what Keanu was definitely going for when he added this guy to his collection. What's better is that Keanu doesn't just love riding bikes, he's a full-blown motorcycle whisperer. You know, grease under the fingernails kind of guy. And he gets to do that with this guy. Over the years, he's been tweaking it into this mean machine. Equal parts vintage charm, equal parts modern menace. How about we take a look under this guy's hood? Or, seat? This Harley is a muscle-bound cruiser with an air-cooled twin-cam 103 engine and a 6-speed cruise-drive transmission. This retro beauty also boasts a 1584cc displacement and can reach a top speed of 115 miles per hour. This right here is a true beauty that's definitely stood the great test of time and will continue to do so. Even Keanu knows this. How about a neat little change of pace, shall we? Number 4. Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. One thing's been quite clear so far, and this is that Keanu Reeves is a man who appreciates the entire spectrum of bikes, from the muscular cruisers to the torque-heavy sport bikes. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that he's got a Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R in his arsenal. It seems like this sleek guy here is Keanu's ride of choice when he hits the track, something he loves doing with his partners and employees at Arch Motorcycles. Why? Well, because it's really fast. That's why. You can't go riding this beast on the highway. There's just so much to worry about. Speed limits, roadkill, careless drivers. The list goes on. But on the track, it's just you, your Ninja ZX-10R, and the open road. And you don't have to worry about Keanu when he's on this guy. He can handle the twists and turns on this bike, and John Wick can handle a Smith & Wesson. To add to its speed, the Ninja ZX-10R is a great bike that perfectly balances its mind-blowing performance with equally mind-blowing handling. So, the Constantine actor picked just the right bike to go breaking the sound barrier on the racetrack. It's time to find out just what Keanu is working with here. The Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R comes with a 998cc inline-4 liquid-cooled engine. This hunk of metal produces up to 200.21 horsepower at 13,200 RPM, as well as a peak torque of 114.9 Nm at 11,400 RPM. That's more power than every other motorcycle so far in Keanu's garage. In terms of speed, they're far behind as well, with the Ninja reaching a top speed of 186 miles per hour. You're looking at one of the fastest production motorcycles on the market and the outright quickest bike in Keanu's garage. And if you're trying to imagine the actor breaking the sound barrier on this guy, well, you're definitely not the only one. This guy is fast, but sadly, it wasn't the bike that featured in The Matrix. No need to be in a rush now. Our big finish is right around the corner. But before then, how about another vintage motorcycle? Number 5. 1974 BMW R75/6. Nowadays, when you think of a motorcycle manufactured by BMW, you probably think of one of these high-end sports bikes used in pro racing events. However, before the motor company began specializing in that level of performance, they had a line of laid-back cruisers, like this bad boy, the BMW R75/6, another vintage two-wheeler Keanu deemed fit for his collection. And by now, you should know that that's quite the praise. Viewed in the same vein as the Norton Commando 850 and the Harley-Davidson Dyna Wide Glide, this beast was designed for those who just want to take it easy, whether you're in it for a mild afternoon cruise or a carefree commute. Also, just like the Norton Commando, it is yet another great example of a motorcycle suitable for new riders from the 70s and 80s. Don't let the rugged look of this guy fool you. It's far from the fastest from its era. Neither are its specs the most dazzling on paper, but boy oh boy, it all makes up for that by being an absolute head-turner. Plus, it's still engaging enough to make any stretch of road more entertaining. The R75 also serves up a commendable amount of comfort, something which, if you hadn't noticed by now, seems to be a common theme in the actor's choice of rides. At the core of this bad boy lies a 745cc air-cooled 4-stroke twin-cylinder boxer engine with a meager output of around 50 horsepower at 6,200 RPM. With a curb weight of 463 pounds, the R75 will cut through the air at a top speed of just 109 miles per hour. This beauty also features a 5-speed transmission, front disc brake, and revised instrumentation. Well folks, that's right about everything that makes this BMW an icon. No doubt that the R75 is another example of Keanu's expansive palette of bikes he appreciates. While with this guy, he can't push the envelope as hard as with the Kawasaki Ninja or the characters he portrays. Don't forget that even your favorite action hero could, at times, do with a little downtime. Well, speaking of Kawasaki's. Number 6. Kawasaki KZ900. After getting a Kawasaki that was all about racetrack fun and leaving people in your dust, Keanu Reeves got another that's basically for comfortable long rides and turning heads as he still leaves people in his dust. This beauty right here is the Kawasaki KZ900, the literal opposite of the Ninja. No doubt, Keanu's collection so far has been dominated by vintage laid-back cruisers. Where the KZ900 differs, though, is that this guy's still pretty fast. To put it into perspective for you, the KZ900 is the third fastest bike in Keanu's garage. Sorry for the spoiler, and we'll get back to that. As for its exterior, the KZ900 just delved into an old-school design. We're talking double cradle steel frame for durability and balance ride, teardrop shaped with subtle knee indents, often featuring bold two-tone paint schemes, bench-style vinyl seat with a slight step for rider and passenger separation, large round halogen unit, bullet-style turn signals that are mounted on the fork ears and rear fender, spoked wheels with chrome rims, slightly raised chrome-plated handlebars, and short front and rear fenders. Even with the KZ900's nice and classic look, it still packs quite a lot under its seat. Sporting a prominent 903cc air-cooled DOHC inline-4 engine, this beauty unleashes a roar at 82 horsepower with 71.6 Nm of torque. Also, with a curb weight a lot less than Keanu's R75 at 511 pounds. This bad boy can reach a top speed of 130 miles per hour. Not half bad for a laid-back cruiser, you'd agree. It also features a 6-speed constant mesh return shift transmission. The KZ900 offers a lot more than the other laid-back cruisers in the actor's collection, and it also fits right in. This guy will stay in his garage for a long time. Number 7. 1984 Harley-Davidson Shovelhead. You didn't possibly think that Keanu had just a single model of the motorcycle brand that birthed his company, did you? Yep, there's another vintage Harley-Davidson in his garage. While there are so many Harley models that are major head-turners, both to the general public and, of course, to motorcycle enthusiasts, one cruiser in particular just stands out during the brand's peak, the 1984 Shovelhead. Another model Keanu just had to add to his collection, and you can't blame him really. This aggressive-looking ready-for-action machine is a true collector's item, a perfect example of a muscular, chill-out motorcycle. The 84 Shovelhead is the embodiment of the 80s hippie culture when life was, indeed, less complicated. The bike was less about whatever image you wanted to project and more about making you feel relaxed as you hit the open road for maybe a cross-country trip, or just a basic afternoon ride. A personality trait that simply resonates with Keanu. Wondering where it got the name Shovelhead from? All you've got to do is take a good look at its head, which, if you haven't figured it out by now, resembles actual coal shovels in shape. The Shovelhead's exterior showcases a lot of transitional 80s elements. A traditional rigid or soft tail-inspired design, telescopic front forks, prominent chrome primary drive cover, dual-staggered chrome pipes, teardrop-shaped steel tank with chrome accents just like the KZ900, and so many more. All these features just come together to give the Shovelhead its iconic look. At its core lies 80 cubic inch air-cooled Shovelhead V-twin engine named for its shovel-shaped rocker boxes. This hunk of metal is certainly not all that in terms of power, producing about 75 horsepower and 85 to 90 pound-feet of torque, propelling this beast to a top speed of 110 miles per hour. Road conditions, bike alterations, and biker weight can all affect the achievable top speed. But with the Shovelhead, it's never about going fast. It's about chilling out and looking cool. Just look at this guy. It's the kind of machine you'd catch Sly Stallone or even The Undertaker in. Well, it's definitely time to address the elephant in the room, the motorcycle that featured in The Matrix and one of Keanu's all-time faves. And for our big finish. Number 8. 2004 Ducati 998 Matrix. Bet a look at this guy just brings back memories. Now, this is a full-on departure from the other motorcycles in Keanu's garage. Even a motorcycle god like him needs variety, and he's got that with this masterpiece, the 2004 Ducati 998. And yep, this is the beauty Trinity goes on a highway chase on while carrying the Keymaker in The Matrix Reloaded. If there was ever a motorcycle that was the physical embodiment of the Matrix movie franchise as a whole, then it would be this guy. Why? Well, because it has the speed, power, agility, and did I mention its limited edition? Yep, all of these just add to the Ducati's 998's appeal. A sport bike that deserves to be in an art museum. And there's more to this bad boy. A little extra special, you know? This Ducati comes in a special Matrix green color along with the official Matrix Reloaded graphics. There's definitely a Matrix fanboy out there who would pay a fortune for this beauty. Here's a fun little tidbit, guys. The actress who plays Trinity, Carrie-Anne Moss actually learned how to ride a Ducati for that highway chase scene. Prior to the film, she'd never ridden one before. Cool, right? Built with its iconic 998cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled V-twin engine with a fuel injection system, what you're looking at is capable of unleashing 123 horsepower at 9,500 RPM. And to finally solve the mystery of the second fastest motorcycle in Keanu's collection, the 998 will clock a top speed of 165 miles per hour. Only his Kawasaki Ninja is faster. An iconic masterpiece for an iconic scene. It's fair to assume that he's probably never parting ways with this legendary souvenir. Plus, rumor has it that Keanu has been seen blasting through Malibu canyons on this green rocket. Not a difficult image to imagine that. And with that, guys, we've reached the end of yet another exciting tour. In an interview, Keanu summed up his love for bikes perfectly. According to the actor, motorcycles are like emotions. Sometimes you want to go fast. Sometimes you want to cruise. Sometimes you just want to fix something with your hands. And that's exactly what his garage has been all about. A man with a lifelong love affair with the open road, superior craftsmanship, and the simple joy of twisting a throttle. Long story short, he might actually really be John Wick.